Hola, and welcome back to Coffee and Chaos.
What is
Oh
that?
Wow.
Do over.
No,
No,
so
let's keep going.
so I'm gonna try not to talk a lot today. But this is not why we didn't have one last week. We didn't have one last week because life. Grandma, baseball, work, all of our schedules were off, so we do apologize. We won't do that again. I got a lot of complaints, but we're back. Solomon, hi.
Hi. Introduce everybody else.
Well, of course, there's Tom.
There we
Everybody
go.
knows Tom. Everybody knows Steph and Tony.
There we go.
I didn't even know if we need. I guess we do need introductions, huh?
Yeah, just
Yeah, I can go through. I got to run through the pictures.
Oh, that's true.
Run through the cameras.
That's true. And so this is a Valentine's special day, and it's funny because I'm not a big Valentine person.
really.
Like, no, I'm like for me, if a guy wants to do something, order me a pizza, let's watch the movie. Like, I'm not a big.
Simple.
Yeah, unless you want to give me a dozen of conchas.
That's why I keep sending you those ones. Though.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you guys talk for the most part. We did a love language test. What's our love language?
Which she made me do this morning.
I did, and I made you guys do them fast because I wanted honest, true answers. I didn't want you to think about it and overanalyze it.
Well, when you're telling me, hurry up,
Yeah.
take the test, I'm like, I'm a Libra. I can't make a decision right away.
There you
Well,
go.
I have
see?
to physically like go through all. I'm like, okay, wait, this one, okay, that one.
No, it's just right away, whatever. Because I
Can't do
feel
no
like,
rapid fire.
but I feel like if you think about it, then is it really
Authentic.
like how long did it take you to do your test, Tom?
I don't know, like 3 minutes.
Damn it.
I
didn't think I
As
don't think I
fast
took
as I
that
could.
long.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Yeah.
I don't think I took that long though, but
No, you guys didn't. You guys
Yeah.
didn't. You guys sent it
I
back.
felt the pressure though.
Oh, you guys
I was
probably-
sweating.
yeah.
No
But
kidding.
you both sent it back within like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I
something like
think.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions were pretty repetitive, but they were just
They're tricky.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were worded different, but there was this, to me it seemed like it was like the same concept.
Yeah.
And then like on my end, I felt like mine was going to be different. And then once the results came out, I was like, "Oh." Then I start thinking, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, damn, that is me. That is like how
All
I
right,
am."
so let's get into it. Who wants to go first? Any volunteers?
I'll go first on mine.
Okay. So do we have Tony?
Yeah, let's pull Tony's up here. Okay. So here's Tony's scores.
Well, mine was obviously 37% was quality time, followed by words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and then receiving gifts.
Words of affirmation. What I forgot what the questions were on that. Like, was it like I
You know,
love
I took
you?
that like
I know, I
under a
don't
month
remember,
ago.
like- But I guess it's positive.
Yeah, being positive
Positive
and just always seeing the
reinforcement, yeah.
So quality
The
time
price,
was
yeah.
the first one.
quality time.
Which is really, I
That-
could see that with you.
Yeah, I want to spend time with my significant other, if and when that does come. But yeah, and then the words of affirmation. I'm always trying to see the brighter side of a situation. Someone can come in all negative. I'm like, well, you know what? At least this happened, and then this, that, and da 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 da. And then physical touch is always good too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm big on it, but I'm not that big. But
Apparently not. He only got
17.
17%.
Don't touch me. You're too close. Social distancing.
Tell me I'm
No.
gorgeous from over there.
Yeah. I got you. But yeah, and then you got the acts of services. That's the one I actually thought I was gonna have like big on because I like doing for people and
Yeah.
and being there.
And the
for
acts of
people.
service was you doing for
Other
them
people.
or
Yeah.
for people doing
No,
for you?
people
I think it was
doing it
people
for
for
you.
doing
Doing-
it for
oh, okay.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, acts
Well,
of
then yeah,
service
then
is-
you know what that makes sense because I don't like people. Like I'm more of a
Yeah.
more of
Yeah.
a giver.
It's people doing for you, not
Yeah.
you doing for them. And even the receiving gifts is people buying you gifts. Not
Yeah,
you.
that doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the quality time was big on mine. Like after taking the test, I was like, yeah, you know what, that is right. I'd much rather spend time and then
Quality time is huge.
yeah. So
I thought that
Yeah.
would be my number one. But Steph, you want to go over yours?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
All right,
pull
let's
up Steph's.
pull up Steph's here. Okay, here is Stephanie.
Quality time, Steph. Whoa.
13.
I'm like, don't hang out with me.
So basically, she needs a guy that's gonna be working at night while she works during the day.
Exactly. Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
And that is so.
I'm gonna have my own room. You're gonna have
Honest to
your
God,
room.
that is so true. I'm like, do shit for me and leave me the fuck alone.
Like, I don't want to live with you. Can we live next door to each other?
Oh man, I didn't really
it's
look
so-
at yours.
Do some
It's
shit
so
for me.
funny that receiving gifts is last because that's like my favorite thing. It's so funny that it's the last thing.
Well, the
I
acts
love
of
that shit.
service.
Yeah, that's like
Okay, but
number
acts of
one.
service comes with quality time. No, you just want them to do things for you, but not
Yeah.
be around.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go take
Always.
care of it and just tell me when
Just order me food. Order me
Touch
food
me
from the other room.
That is so. And
Wow.
physical. Well, wait. I have a question then. If your physical touch is 30%,
But you ain't around nobody.
yeah,
I just like drive by.
Yeah. Well, as she's sitting on the couch, just
Drive
from
by.
behind, just touch her.
the quality time and the physical touch don't add up.
Like just walk past me, touch my boob, and keep it on.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Oh God.
That is hilarious. I just feel like, oh, that's. All right, let's go over yours, Tom.
Uh-oh.
He's like, oh no.
All right, here is Tom.
Okay.
Wow.
Quality
Quality
time.
time.
All right.
I
get that one.
can. That is totally you. Quality time, 30%. Physical touch, words of affirmation. I thought your words of affirmation would be less, to be
You
honest.
know, it's
Yeah.
so
So
weird
did
that
I.
so many guys have higher words of affirmation
Because-
than females.
Because we think that they don't want to be.
That they don't need it.
Yes.
I believe that.
I agree with that because, you want somebody to think, value you and think
Yeah.
that you're be proud
You're
of
a
things and
softie.
stuff like that. Like you
Aw.
do it all the time, right? You do stuff, right,
Yeah.
around the house, but like it's nice to be acknowledged that hey,
How did your
Not gonna happen.
receiving gifts be 0%?
because
Tom's
I
like,
don't give a shit about that. Your gift might be giving me some of your quality
I'm
time.
still shocked. Mine is 7%.
Yeah.
he's like, I don't want a gift. I just want
But
you.
I like
Give
to
me
touch
presents.
too.
I
I
know.
like to touch.
Well, that's why quality time and physical touch are the two most important
Yeah, I would
things on
agree.
here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, look at that. Like,
Yeah.
and that.
And you know what? That's
Hey, it is
well
quality
balanced.
time when you're physically touching.
yes.
It's pretty well
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah.
Very well done.
That
All
is
right.
really-
Solomon, let's do yours before
Why-
we get into mine.
Why are we doing yours last?
Because
Cause she's the host.
no, because mine's crazy.
All right. Now keep in mind, I just did this.
Oh, don't
Oh,
be.
it don't
I have
matter.
to preface it.
Acts of service. Whoa.
Wow.
Words of affirmation. He needs to hear some good.
You want-
He
Wow.
likes gifts.
You want people to do stuff
He's
for
like,
you.
don't touch me.
Well,
physical touch. Yeah.
Also,
Wow,
so you,
his physical
so Stephanie and Solomon would make a really good match.
oh yeah,
Oh my! How is your physical touch 7%?
that's just not really like a big deal to me. Like, and keep in mind, and I have a theory on this because what I noticed when we went through this thing is that the questions seem to get more defined in terms of the choices. Like it was easier to pick as you got further in, so it's narrowing you down.
Yeah.
That's what I found. So I don't know. I mean, when it gets to receiving gifts, it's not a huge thing for me, but like someone tells me something, it just shows your acknowledgement as a man. I think that's important. Now, I also have another theory, and I think that a lot of times your responses are going to be based on what you had in your last relationship or what you feel like you're missing from your current relationship.
Ooh,
So
that's
does
a-
that mean
that-
you were or were not missing physical?
There you go. I mean, well, it was.
And you don't need to
I
answer.
just think you don't want it no more.
No, it means I was missing some of the other things, the
Oh,
words of
yeah.
affirmation.
Got it.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that
that's
makes
what
sense.
it means. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
scared to do
that's
mine now.
true.
I forgot what mine were.
Oh.
Those are all over the place. This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah,
were good
but
questions.
they're pretty consistent with the men wanting words of
Affirmation.
affirmation,
Yeah.
which is shocking.
Yeah.
All right, we ready
You were
for
ready.
okay, here we go.
Yeah. See, I thought
Acts of service?
Well, can you do my roof?
Can you take out my trash can?
Yeah, I knew her roof and her trash can was gonna make its way into this conversation some kind of way.
Okay.
I thought, in words of affirmation, we have Seth was dating a girl recently and she's like, well, you never tell me things and da-da-da. And Seth said, all of a sudden, Alina popped in my head. He's like, got food on the table, right? There's a roof over your head, right? You got clothes on your back. I don't need to tell you I love you every day. I show you I love you. And I'm more of that. Like, don't tell me you love me all day long. So words of affirmation don't really mean much to me. Like, show me. Go on the roof and
Go patch that hole.
Man,
Go
you know
take out the
what?
trash.
I'm surprised receiving gifts was so high because I'm not but then I don't know. Maybe I guess I like gifts.
Physical touch and receiving gifts, you're right there at the same thing.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
could have went either way.
that's not
But
bad.
I think I thought receiving gifts would be less and physical touch would be more.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently not. Apparently I'm not too big
You're
on that.
revealing some things about yourself.
Yeah, and your words of affirmation, you need to work on that.
I'm not but I'm not
Women
a
don't
big-
really.
I'm not a
They
big
don't need that.
I mean, it's nice to hear things, right? It's
Right.
nice to hear like, hey, good morning, beautiful, and stuff like that. It is. But at the same time, if people get in a habit of just talking about it and not being
Mhm.
about it and doing about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the acts of service for me is huge. And quality time is
I
awesome.
think you need words of affirmation so you know whether you're on the right track or not, though.
That's
You
how
know,
I feel.
am I doing
totally
what you
feel that
like
way.
or am I off here?
Yeah.
Are you proud of me or not?
But
Sometimes we need-
what if your physical touch, sexual, right, is off the charts and you're good and you guys have all these quality time together? Does she need to have words of affirmation to you then?
I think so. Just
Because isn't that your language in bed talking?
not. I mean, I don't necessarily think that. I mean, just
There's
think
other
it's-
ways that you're taking care of your significant other, and
Right.
like, you know, babe, I appreciate when you do this. You've done that for me. You whatever. Thank you for your support. All the different things you want to know that. Hey, am I on the right page? Am I doing what you need? Am I being what you need? So if you don't hear that, you don't know that you're lining up.
Okay, so words of affirmation aren't just the "you're beautiful," "I love you."
More like I appreciate you. I
Yeah, for
recognize you.
sure.
I
Yeah,
acknowledge
so
what you're
it's more in
doing. I'm
depth than
proud of
just
you.
that.
That's big. That's
Yeah,
huge.
big time.
It's the whole. Yeah,
I think
I
sometimes
get
we
that.
need that reassurance of that. Not
Yeah.
everybody, but just hearing it. And
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I mean, I like when I do for people or
Yeah.
vice versa. Just hearing it, it's
Dude,
just
I
like, it
agree.
makes
I
you feel a
think
little bit better.
everybody needs that. I think
Yeah.
everybody needs it to a certain degree.
No, and I agree with that. You need to hear something, but I think I thought words of affirmation were the "I love yous" and "you're beautifuls" and
Well, it
sexy
can be
and all
that too, but it's not
The
necessarily.
test gave you examples, though. It was like, I appreciate you. Somebody helps you with
I don't
something you're
remember.
doing.
I took it like when did we take it? Like
Like-
2 weeks ago?
Oh, a
No,
long time ago.
it was like a little under a month probably.
Yeah,
Mm.
probably. Right.
Oh,
You're
was
like,
it?
take this test, hurry up. I'm like, ugh.
Hurry up and
I
wait.
was in a grocery store.
Yeah.
She's like, you're taking too long. I was like, I'm not even taking it.
She's cheating.
Jeez, I wanted
She
to.
said I was cheating.
Yeah.
I was like, how
I
am I
remember that.
cheating?
Oh, I sent it to
I'm
Tom.
gonna take a picture of
and
me
Tom
in
was
line.
all, no problem. Tom sent it right back in like 2 minutes. He was like, here you go. I'm like, thanks, buddy. I was like,
All
I
right.
knew I could count on you.
Excuse
That's words of
grocery store.
affirmation.
There you go.
Hey,
Words
words
of
of affirmation. You can
right
count
there.
on me. That's right.
I can count on Tom. For sure. But I can count on you guys too. That's for sure. And so with your love language, does it come from just your significant other? Or does it come from even your kids? Does it come from your siblings? Does it come from your friends? Like,
Sure. Words of affirmation part of it. Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like, so for in that sense, then for me, the words of affirmation, I definitely need to hear it from my kids, my sister's kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very needy of my sister's kids, of my kids. So like when they were there on Sunday, like they all know, oh, they're walking out, and then Gia ran back in and gave me a hug. She's like, oh, I almost forgot to hug you, because she knows, like I don't even need a word from her, but her hugging me, saying "love you, Auntie," and leaving.
That's enough for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, even like your family and your aunts and everything you said before, like you don't want them to look at you. Oh, you got tattoos. What are you doing? And you're like,
Yeah.
like you want to make sure they see you in this certain light, right?
Mhm.
And that they're,
Yeah.
that
They're
you're
gonna be
good-
shocked when I
that
get
you're
another one
good
right
in their
here.
eyes.
Yeah. And
Wait,
that,
where are you
that's,
getting the other one?
huh?
Where are you getting the other one?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
they're gonna be like, "You're going to hell."
They're gonna have the
What
holy
do you
water
think?
ready for you and everything.
Familia es todo means family is
Mm.
everything. I just feel like he's right. Like I do want my aunts to, because growing up with them, they're only a few years older than me. So we grew up kind of like sisters or like other mothers to me, kind of. So their words of affirmation, and so when they do say things to me, it does hurt my feelings. It does make me, but I don't have like, out of my sister's kids and my kids, like even when my mom goes to hug me, I'm like, okay, like, we don't touch, like, we don't hug, like, why are we hugging? It's weird, but my sister's kids, like my nephew, I couldn't stop touching him, the middle one. The older one, I'm always hugging, Seth, I'm always hugging. But out of those kids, anybody else, I'm like, why are we touching? Like, why are we hugging?
Mm.
I need my kids and
Now,
her
do you think it's
kids.
because you didn't have that when you were younger?
I think that's very much because I didn't have it when I was younger. I did not. So I've always touched my sisters, and I didn't hug my daughter because she was my first kid. And I think she was like 4. And my grandpa said, "Hug your daughter." I was like, "Oh, I did."
But
He's
you know
like,
what? I was the same way. I mean, or I am the same way with my younger sister. Sorry, Jess, but we we like when I hug her, it's a genuine hug, but it's like I'm not used to it. Like,
mm-hmm.
Mm.
but then with my niece and my nephew, I'm like always hugging them, like you said, just always
Yeah.
just
Mm.
that way. I don't know, probably because we didn't do it as kids,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it to them as well. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
So,
interesting. My first kid, it was an every other weekend kind of thing, and so it was very difficult to be physical because it's like you get that emotion with them, and then they're gone for
Mm.
4 days out of the like the rest of the month. You get them 4 days, and so you fall apart, and so you learn to love in this sort of kind of stoic, objective way, and so it's not as touchy feely. So my second kid, when I'm raising her every day, I had to sort of train myself to be more physical with her because she was there every day. It was a different dynamic.
that
Mhm.
makes sense too.
Yeah.
yeah. But it also could be like your kids in general or who they are. Like Loran's a very touchy-feely kid. And maybe because I had to realize I had to be like that with her, and I was. Seth, I could rub his hair. Men love their like head rubbed.
Mhm.
And I can hug him.
Wait, is that true, man? Tom? Do you love your
Yeah,
head rubbed?
Yeah, heck yeah.
dude, it was
Tony?
especially as nails.
Oh my
So we're
god.
driving home from baseball, I'm rubbing Seth's head, he'll fall asleep. But Seth doesn't want to be really touched. Like I can't go in and massage his shoulder. He'll be like, "Don't touch me, mom. Don't do that." Like he for some reason just naturally doesn't like to be touched. So I can get a hug. Now if he's on the couch, I could play with his hair, but that's it. Anything else, like don't touch me. So I wonder if it's just a natural thing too that sometimes people just don't like to
Oh yeah,
be.
yeah.
Mhm.
So does he get jealous when the other kids like laying all over your lap?
Heck no.
He's like better than me.
Yeah, like, I was playing with BJ this weekend, and I was like, he was in an awkward position on the couch, and so I was pretending like I was gonna beat him up, and he's laughing, and he finally says, "Seth, get your mom," and he's like, "That ain't my mom, that's your aunt." Like, you get your aunt, like, so no, he's not. He's very secure, so he's not. No, none of the kids are. I think the only one that's jealous out of all 'em is Gia because she's the baby and the girl, so
Right.
she wants to know that she's because something happened. Oh, she got an attitude with Michael. And I said, "Don't that's the one person you don't get an attitude with in my eyes. Like he's my baby. Everybody knows that." Like, "Oh my God, he's your favorite." I'm so tired of hearing that. And I was like, "Oh."
Oh,
I was like, "Okay."
well, there's that.
So I think we need like so I think the love language test when I took it, it asked if you're single or married, right? And I took it
Right.
as a single woman, but I thought about it, that's not just for a relationship like with your
Mhm.
significant other.
Yeah.
It's also with your friends, your
Or even
kids.
with your like your dad, like if you want my like I want my dad to look at me and think like, hey, good job, son.
Right.
You become a good man.
I'm proud of
These
you.
things, I'm proud of you. Yeah, right. So, you know,
I think that's the
it's
biggest one from a
crazy.
man
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was gonna
is hearing I'm
say,
because
proud of you.
as a
Yeah.
51-year-old man, though, Tom, I look at you and you're a very headstrong, smart guy. Like you have all your stuff together. At 51, everything you've been through, that's still important to you.
yeah, very much for sure.
Wow.
And I can
That stuff never is not important to you, from your parents especially.
Some people get to a point where they're like, I don't need my dad. I don't this because they're still bitter and angry
I
inside. But
Yeah.
as a man, that he could sit here and admit that I still need that, that's amazing.
I think though in divorces and things like that, and Solomon just kind of nailed it, saying that when you're being pried away from your child. And so you build up these calluses and these walls, and you don't reach out and hug and love and tell them that you love them because next week they're going to be gone maybe for a month for whatever. And so you kind of put these walls up. And I think my dad did that. So, you kind of like, well, you know what? It's Christmas. And yeah, I'm not even going to see them because they're going to go with mom's because mom's side is this and that. Hey, dad, sorry we can't see you, but maybe we'll get over there in a couple weeks and we'll exchange gifts. It's kind of like he's just pushed off. And then so these walls and everything build up with this man. And people always wonder, why is this man, why does he act like that? Why is he a jerk? Why he's not reaching out to his kids? Why?
Right.
Because it's a defense mechanism.
Absolutely.
Because the
Yeah.
mom is going to get it all the time, and she's always going to get that. You see on hi mom, the basketball, football,
Love you,
everything's
Mom.
mom,
Yeah.
right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Absolutely.
Like everybody but it's not the same with dad. I'm sure dads built that. So my dad never said he loved me until, I think I might have talked about this before. We were on a trip. We were on our way to Northern California, and I had him like pinned in the truck with me. It was like a 10-hour drive in the truck when I had my moving
You're
company. And
gonna
I was
tell
like,
me you love me,
yeah.
damn it?
So I told him, like,
By
Dad,
the time
like,
we get there.
you never did. You never say that. Like, you just never did it.
Remember that.
Just,
Remember you mentioned.
yeah. So I brought it up to him, like, hey, so we say words of affirmation, it stems from that. You like, hey, man, I want my parents to be proud,
Yeah.
and
Do you
give you that reassurance, like, hey, man, you're doing a good job, son. I see what you're doing, and
is that what is that what has helped you with your 4 boys through the divorce? You make sure that you constantly stay in
I
contact.
try to constantly reach out. I try to give them their space at the same time and let them kind of see things for themselves instead of just like, try to pound it into their head like who I am to them and what I am and
Yeah.
how, if I'm valuable and this. No, no, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll pepper them a little bit with it and I'll take a step back and
Yep.
then
Right.
eventually for them to be able to see it,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
them to be able to. But I don't let it. I'm the parent here, so I don't let the tail wag the dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in control, even when my feelings are hurt, when they haven't reached out to me, when they haven't done this and that. So, but I'll say, you know what? But I'm the dad. Yeah, I'm the leader here.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm gonna continue to, hey son, what's up with you? How you doing? Like, and then sometimes they don't even reach back out to me for a long time
Right. No.
at
Yeah.
all.
but it's
But you know
huge
what?
that you do that because a lot of
I
people
think it's a
can't.
power struggle.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's a lot of things that they're hurt and they're disappointed
Hurt from the
from just
divorce.
the
Divorce, yeah, yeah.
separation, me not just being able to be there, things like that.
And a
How-
lot of kids
how old
take
are
the
they?
mom side.
The oldest is 27, and I got 25, I got 21, and
Oh, so they're older.
matter
So
of
they're
fact, my one is
definite.
21 today.
Oh,
Happy
Yeah.
And then
birthday.
he's in Vegas, or was in Vegas. I don't know if you got that.
Yay.
And then I've got a 19-year-old as my youngest.
The
Oh
baby.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
they're at that age.
oh yeah,
And they're men, right? Like
Yeah.
They're at that age.
that whole ego thing.
for
Like
sure.
Well,
what
I
is
mean,
it?
a lot of that though is natural because kids. One of the things that they always have to do is they have to find their boundaries, right? And so they're always comparing themselves to something, whether it's a best friend, a role model, a father, and like even with my father, you're always thinking of, okay, what things do I want to do that he did, and what things do I want to do that he didn't do? He
Yeah.
never. I feel like in a lot of ways, my dad never kept his promises. So one of my big things with my kids is if I
Yes.
say
Mhm.
I'm
That's
gonna do
huge.
something, I'm gonna do it. And if
Yeah.
I can't do it, I'm gonna say, here's why. And I tell my kid, I'll never tell you no unless I have a reason to tell you no. So
Yeah.
those are things, that's how sort of men grow. We have to sort of,
Mhm.
find our boundaries and stuff. So a lot of that stuff comes naturally.
One of the things with my dad is he procrastinate everything. Like he would never get, oh, well, I don't know how the weather's gonna be if I'm gonna work on the car. Like, Dad, it's Southern California. Like, come on, man. Like, so he would, and me, when there's projects to do, like I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, but I just get into it because he would always make excuses.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if I'm already into it, I'm gonna have to figure it out because I already ripped into it.
There you
So
go.
Right.
I jump into shit all the time that maybe I
Mhm.
should have, you know, checked out what I was getting into a little bit better, right? But because of the way he did shit, now I'm total opposite. I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, that's like with my kids. Like when growing up, my dad was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come get you. I'm gonna
Oh,
come hang out with you and get ready."
oh
Oh, that's the
Oh,
worst.
yeah.
And
That's
be
the
like, damn,
worst.
where's he
That's
at?
horrible.
And that's
Yeah.
And then,
such
like,
a
you know what I
that's
mean?
such
Now
a
that when
sad
it comes to
feeling.
my kids, and when I say I'm gonna get them, or if I'm gonna do something with them, I make sure that I stick to
Heck
it
yeah.
because of
Yeah.
the fact that I didn't want that to be like,
Big time.
because I know what it went through. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
going through, and it sucked. But like I said, whenever I tell my son or I tell his mom I'm gonna pick him up from school,
Yeah.
is she gonna get him? I already said I am.
Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah.
half hour early just
Yeah.
to make sure to get them, like, you know, and pick them up and whatnot. So yeah,
Did that make
yeah.
you closer to your mom in those moments when your dad wasn't
Um,
picking you up?
I would say so in a way.
By default, she's the
Yeah,
one you go
I
to when
mean,
you're
growing
hurt.
up,
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
mom. I mean, like I said, there was one day where freaking I was sick at school. Dad was like, "I'm gonna come get you." So I'm sitting in the nurse's office. My mom couldn't leave. She was working in Wilmington. She was working at the train center at the time, and couldn't. I just stayed in the
Well, when
office. I never.
you
Oh,
know you
wow.
could depend on one versus the
Yeah.
other one.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, well, what do you mean you're not going to bond better with that one, the one that you can depend on? Of course you
Mhm.
are.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's heartbreaking too as a kid.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So that's why I said, like, now
You're
that with
waiting
my,
and they just
like
don't show
Tom
up.
said, if you're gonna say something, you're gonna make sure
Yeah.
you're gonna be about it. And
So
you're
do
gonna
you
get
think
it.
that's why yours was the way it is? Like, because what you went through, so as you got older, you wanted to make sure everybody was happy and you didn't disappoint anybody like you were disappointed?
I think so, probably. I mean, but then again, that's where it's like sometimes I do it too much, where I forget about myself, taking
Yeah.
care of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I have to take that step back, like, nah, sorry, I can't help you. I need to focus more
You
on
got to
me.
have
Because,
boundaries
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
Because if we're readily available all the time, right? If we're always readily available, then it's not worth as much.
Yeah.
So what is very what's the word you know, if it's not around very much, it becomes more valuable, right? If
Yeah.
it's not easily obtainable, it's more valuable. So if my
Right.
time is not easily attainable, when you have it, you better value it. Or you're only going to
absolutely.
get it this one time this week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're going to be attentive into, you know, like, so if you starve, it's crazy. It's almost like you got to starve people of you a little bit. Like, hey, I'm not going to, like, you know what? I got my boundaries. I got other stuff going on. And when people see it, like, hey, man, this guy's busy. He's got this going on. He's dressing this and that. When it comes time to, like, they're going to be a little bit more like, hey, they're going to make sure they show up to that date on time on this because,
Yeah.
you know, the time is
That's
valuable.
all
It's
they
more
got.
valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Stephanie,
Yeah.
you're not speaking a whole lot here.
I know she's still mad about
I'm
her
gonna keep the
9.
camera on you till you give us an experience here.
No, because it kind of went off into family.
Yeah.
You know what I
Versus
And?
mean?
relationship.
Well, because I was asking
Oh.
could it be for everything or is it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in relationship types? Or could it also go into friendship?
I think it's all
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
All the ships, right?
All the
All the
ships.
All the ships. That is funny.
Relationship, situationship. No, I'm
So
just kidding.
Stephanie, what was it like with your parents? I don't know if we've ever
With-
talked about that.
With what?
With your parents, I don't know your relationship with them. Was it cool? Was it
Yeah,
distant?
no, it was really good. My mom's super loving, and my dad, he was always working. He had it.
So he was a hard worker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always working, but I mean, when he was home, he was fun. But we weren't a very touchy family.
Right.
Like not a lot of touching.
Hence
Okay.
the, hence the
But I
physical
think that
touch.
older, like, I think the
Yeah.
touching has been more recent in years of people actually,
Mhm.
like, think about it. Back then, parents didn't go to every practice, every game. Parents weren't around their kids as much as they are today, right?
Right.
They didn't
Mhm.
touch, they didn't do all that. Today, we hug our kids. Today, we tell our kids we love them. Today, we go to every game, as many practices as we can. You know, it was way different back then.
Why do you feel it's different? What do you think changed?
I think one, we saw a lot of what wasn't happening to us because we weren't hugged, because we weren't kissed. So we wanted to give that to our kids. We saw what we didn't receive. And so we try to now give it to our kids. We don't want to miss anything. We want to be a part of their lives every day. We want to see everything going on. I also think it's kind of bit us in the ass because we've now raised these super soft kids.
Yes.
You
Okay.
know?
So you're saying that it's a generational thing, like the
Yeah.
generation prior to us didn't have some of the things that we have today. Type.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Like, I don't remember my mom going to my brother's football practices at Pedro High. I don't think she went to the games on Friday
Well, mine couldn't. She had to
nights.
work, so
Yeah,
it was more or
mine
less my
worked too.
sister
Mine
Regina.
worked too.
She would
Yeah.
go to the practices and sometimes
Well,
take
now
me.
we don't let the kids do things for themselves if we just keep
That's where the
constantly
coddling
doing
comes
it
in.
for them. On them,
Mhm.
I'm gonna take care. I'm gonna order this for you. I'm gonna make your bed. I'm gonna, and they just like, can't do anything on their. Then they
They're not
become
self
soft
they're not
Yeah.
self-sufficient.
in that. But at the same time, you want to reassure them and give them words of affirmation. Tell them that you love them. Do all these things so they have a confidence level, like so they can build confidence and go out there and do that. But then it's like
Mhm.
it's such a balance, right? It's just like, okay, where do I cut it off here and where do I bump it
Yeah.
up there? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get the right measurements here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Like,
Alina, how do you keep that balance? Because you talk a lot about coddling Seth and taking care of him and going to all those games and making sure he knows you're there and all that. And yet at the same time, you put such pride in raising a man. So how do you
Tom and
balance
I
that?
were just talking about this, and there's only so much I could say because he is in baseball season right now. But
Mhm.
um, I have I just told him on Sunday he came home for the day because he lives down in the apartments, and I did his laundry. I like to do his laundry, so I did that. However, Seth can do his own laundry. Seth cooks all his own food. Seth can get on a plane by himself, check into a hotel by himself, get around a car. Like I have raised him to be all these things as much as I still like to be a mom. However, like he's having a personality conflict right now. Let's just say somewhere. And I asked Tom for some advice, like, and Tom's like, no, he doesn't back down. Absolutely not. He's a man. He's not being disrespectful. He's not cussing. He's not doing anything, but he's not kissing ass is what he's not doing, right?
Right.
Right.
And there's a lot of other people that are kissing ass, so they're getting the rewards for the kissing ass, right? And Seth refuses to do that. And I don't want him to do that, but at the same time, I want you to also get your rewards. So Tom was like, absolutely not. He does not kiss ass. Stands his ground. He is the man that he is. As much as I coddle Seth, everybody around will tell you Seth is very much does not need me. And that is the sad part for me as a mom.
Mm.
Like I can leave for a month, and as long as the bills were paid,
He's gonna be good.
he's good. Like
That's good. That's what
he,
I feel every parent would want.
right.
no,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
do. I take pleasure
Sure.
in that. Like when he left last year in South Dakota, the host mom sent me a thing saying like, "Oh my God, he's such a well-mannered kid.
Mhm.
He's so behaved. He cleans up after himself." Like the other kid that was in there in the room like flooded the bathroom, had crap everywhere. Seth was like, and he ended up flying home early, like all these issues, right? And
Mhm.
Seth was like, "Who raised you, wolves?" Like
Yeah.
as I was able to love and coddle Seth till he was 11. Now exit his father, I now had to be dad. And there's some moments I wish I wasn't, but because I wish I could have still been able to coddle him, but I couldn't. So from 11 on, I've just been a hard ass on him. And it's ruined our relationship at times. And I think mentally we've had to come to a point where I've had to apologize for some things. I'm not a perfect mom, but we're at a point today where we both understand why I did the things that we did.
So you're proud of what you've accomplished.
I can say I don't have any regrets with Seth, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't look back and think, well, maybe I could have done this different. But in that moment, that's a decision I made, right? Like I tell him,
Mhm.
you weren't molested, you weren't beat, you weren't starving, you always had a roof over your head. So yeah, I probably like he says he hates the word lazy now because he knows how much I hate that word.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I told him once in high school, once, oh my God, you're so lazy. I might as well
He
called
still
him
carries that.
I might as well have called him a bitch because, like, to him, like, "You called me lazy," but he knows how much I hate that word, so to him, it was an insult,
Mhm.
right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I have to still today have to explain to him, it wasn't that you're lazy, but in that moment in time, you were being lazy. So, I mean,
That's funny, but it's not. Like
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so moments like that was I upset in the moment and probably took it out on him and I shouldn't have and called him lazy, not realizing then what it would do, you know what I mean? But when
Mhm.
we had to later in life when he had some issues and went through it, that was one of the things that was brought up because all he ever wanted to do was get my approval. So then when I was like, "You're not doing this or you're not doing that," it was like he was constantly trying to please me and he felt like he couldn't. So
Yeah.
I mean, we all look back and think, "I wish I could have done this different or that different," you
Well,
know?
I will say one thing, okay? Time forgets context, all right? And what I mean by that is at that time, the situation was what it was, and you did the best you could. You made the decision based on all of the factors around you at that time. Today, it's easy to look back on that and think, "Yeah, I would have handled it differently," but you're looking at it at you're sort of evaluating it current circumstances, so don't forget, give yourself some credit. Time forgets all the context, it
Oh,
forgets
for
all the little
sure.
things that happened back then.
The one thing that I've learned through him and only through him is patience. I never had patience prior to him going to San Jose and playing baseball and him going through that. And I think the way the coaches handled it and the school handled it was so horrific. And I have to physically, like mentally get past that because it was disgusting how they handled it.
Yeah.
But from that moment on, I've learned to let go and let God literally.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get mad at somebody cuts me off. I don't get mad if Seth forgets to take the trash out. I don't get mad when Seth leaves dirty dishes in the sink. I don't get mad when Loran and Jackie come and steal my toilet paper. Like, I have learned that nothing matters but the mental and physical health of your children.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, okay. And I wish I could have been this way sooner in life, right? But you learn and you go through all these things. And so for me, I think that's why quality time is such a big thing for me. Acts of service is such a big thing for me. That's why I ask, and I'll ask like again, it's not just your love language with your significant other, it's with your kids, your
With people.
friends, your
Yeah, sure.
it's with everybody around. And I know that I lack in my friendships. I know that my girlfriends are looking like, "Yep, you don't return text messages. You don't
That's why I
return
always tease
phone
you about, 3
calls."
business days later.
Yeah. Like I lack in friendships. I have to be a better friend. But I'm aware of it. I know that. I tell them. And there's not an apology because I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not going to respond to you any sooner than I already have.
Right.
But I've also made it clear being my friend means you're going to be way back. What did we just say right now? We talked about this. Like, I could not date a guy today and give him what he deserves because grandma's there. That's the main focus. If grandma's out of the picture, then I probably would because Seth has his own life. Loran has her own thing.
Right.
But my priority is grandma, and I'm not giving that to anybody else until she leaves. So it's not like I lie to my friends. They all know. Like your sister keeps saying, "What are we doing for your 50th? What are we doing for your 50th?" I'm like, between baseball and grandma, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm just gonna be home.
Last
I don't
minute
know.
Hey,
But
last
yeah.
minute, yeah.
See what
Yeah.
happens.
So I know I
2
lack.
weeks, get ready.
Yeah, I lack in friendship for sure. That's my flaw in my love language. But my friends know that they could call me at 3 a.m. That's the difference. And I would come pick them
I'm
up.
gonna try that.
And see, but that's why
I'm gonna call you at what are you doing? Are you sleeping?
that's why I
Guess
hate
what
when
happened
people
at
say
work?
Oh,
Yeah.
Hold on. What did you say, Solomon?
That's why I hate when people say, I lack in my friendship because the thing about it, first, the context is you have friends, which means they find value in something you're doing already. Number one. Number two, I think people just have to learn how you are a friend. It's not about you changing to be a better friend. It's just everyone expresses their friendship in different ways. I have this lady who takes me to uh uh lunch for my birthday every year. I don't even know her birthday. But yet, like you said,
Damn.
but it doesn't
Wow.
mean that we're not friends. It means that that's her way of expressing it, and I have my own way of expressing it. You call me at 3 in the morning, say I need a ride, I'm there.
Yeah.
That's the way I express my friendship. So I think we just need to be less critical of ourselves and just more thinking along the lines of how am I a friend, and make sure your friends know that's how you are a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well
I
said.
I know that I was in Arizona and my aunt calls and says, your roof's leaking like everywhere. And I was like, shit, fine, I just gotta finally pay the money and get it done, right?
Yeah.
And so I called a few friends and their husbands to see, and nobody could get there. So I was like, damn, I hate bugging this person, but I'm gonna bug them. So I was like, Tom, what are you doing? He's like, I gotta go to work at 1. Why?
I need
My
your
roof
help.
is leaking. He's like, I got you. So with that being said, Tom had told me a while ago that he was going to fight. Remember in the jiu-jitsu thing?
Right.
I did not care. I knew Seth's game was being on and he was going to fight. My friend did me a huge, tremendous favor because it rained, nonstop for the
Oh,
next 4
yeah.
days after
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I don't know what Tom and God did up on my roof, but let me tell you,
It worked.
it worked. So I made sure, and I told Seth, like, hey, check it out. And Seth's like, no, that's fine, Mom. I went and watched my friend fight because I felt like I needed to support him like he supports me. And that's huge.
Mm.
And I know that he knows like the fact, because even after it was done, I was like, you won, we're good. I got to go. He's like, bye, go to Seth's game, get out of here. Like he knew I couldn't stick around, you know?
Right.
So for me, I've learned that I do have to acknowledge my friendships and what they do for me, but they are the last of my list. You know what I mean? It's like I said, but it's me, not them. Like even my sister, I'm needy of my sister's kids. I need their love. I need my kids' love for some reason. I'm that old Mexican vieja, you know, it just is. And if I don't have them around me, I'm not okay. So that's my priority. That's my love language are those kids.
You're fulfilled.
Yes. But I think even if like I married a guy that had 3 kids, I would want his kids around all the time. Like, oh, are the kids coming over? Like, what are we
Right.
doing? Like, that's just who I am, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Tom,
So-
I think you ruined it for every other man. Now she's never going to get a man now that you fixed her roof.
Yeah.
No, I still got
Can you
trash
take out my
cans.
trash? There you go.
I still got
Come
trash
on, I still got trash cans. Just come by every week.
I was like, man, so this time when it was raining, I was like, if those trash cans go down, I'm gonna be so mad. Like, but Junior's been taking him, Jackie's son, because Seth's gone.
Because you're on a hill and because
Yes.
that water catches him and it just
Yes.
drags him
Yeah.
down the
Oh.
street.
Wow.
Right to the corner, right where it split.
I literally was at the corner pouting, wanting to just cry. Like,
That was so funny. I was laughing because I was on the other end. On the other end of the phone.
wait, so of course we're off topic. We always go off topic. It just is what it is. Tom, what are you doing for Valentine's? Any special plans?
Yeah. I'm going out to a
He's on-
place
yeah.
called Zendejas in San Dimas where
Ah.
we got like a band playing and some music. And
Are
I'm
you
gonna get
gonna
out there. And,
dance?
I'm gonna get out there and cut
Happy
up the
feet,
rug.
baby. Elbows
Yeah.
up.
Have you seen him all over Instagram and TikTok?
Oh man! Once I
Wow.
saw you on Instagram, I was like, "That's it."
Everybody keeps inboxing me. Is this one of your co-hosts? Is this one of your co-hosts? I was like, that's him.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, so that's where we're going.
But are you guys staying out there? Because it's far. Are you driving back that night?
No, I'll drive back and I'll probably work the next day at 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm
I'll have
like, what the
downtime.
hell? Like,
Yeah.
damn, you don't quit.
Go tomorrow, work the first half, and then be off early, and then work the second half of the day. Next day works out good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
to do
That's the
nothing too
beauty of our
crazy in the
job.
middle of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Beauty of our job.
Steph, what are you doing for Valentine's?
We don't really do anything on Valentine's Day because it's just so crazy. We always
Mhm.
go like the following weekend, but we'll go out to like sushi. But Brian always gets me flowers every year. Sunflowers with skulls in them every
Oh,
year.
how
Skulls?
cute.
Yes.
So
okay,
dark.
That's right.
Every year.
How
That-
cute.
That's different.
Yeah.
Tony, Solomon, either one of you got plans?
No comment.
Okay. okay.
Dang.
I'll be at the bar with my buddy.
There you go.
Have a couple of drinks and then call it a night.
Yeah.
I'm working, so I told all the guys at work, like I was doing the schedule for my partners to work this week, but I was doing it last week, and I happened to be on the phone speaker with the managers, and I was like, Carmen has Wednesday off. I was like, that hoe, and they're like, what? I was like, she wants Valentine's Day off, and they go, well, technically, she got a man. She should have it off. And I
Ooh.
was like,
Reality check right
I was like,
there.
all right, Will. I
Yeah.
was like,
Good looking out.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I was like, I said,
That's a
"All
good
right."
friend
You
right
work.
there.
Yeah, you work, so I could go.
Well, and our other partner is Daryl, and he's married to Susan. So we're like, so I was like, all right, I'll work. I said, I better come in. One of you managers better buy me donuts with hearts on them. Someone better buy me something. Don't make me come to work and be like all depressed by myself.
Mm.
So we'll see what I get at work tomorrow. I was like, just one donut to make me happy. I was like, that's it.
You must really want donuts today. That's like the 5th time you mentioned donuts.
Well, I see Tom today this morning right away with all the coffee I got everybody. And he's like, oh, I just had a donut. And I was like,
Well, hey, wait a minute.
and you didn't bring me anything?
So
And she did not
First
let
the
it go.
SOS band, now the donut.
But we are going to the concert
Yes, we
on
are.
St.
Yeah,
Patty's
yeah.
Day. We're going to
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
to the
That's gonna be
windows,
fun.
to the walls.
Tom, you have come so far from like the first podcast.
Right.
And he was like kind of like harsh and like really like, no, now you're just so open to love.
See what happens when you go viral on TikTok?
I
You change. No,
know.
I'm kidding.
And have you always been a dancer?
Never. I never danced. No.
Really?
I would never dance. Like, well, you always hear everyone's ragging on the white boy, right? White boys can't dance. White boys
Right.
can't jump. White boys are goofy. White boys this that. Like so, yeah. I was very conscientious of getting out on the dance floor, and dance, and then people cracking jokes and like, well, then I ain't never going out there. But but
Things
with my
change.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
with my girlfriend, when I first met her, like she was a dancer and she's just out there all the time, and I'm watching her. I'm like, wow, I like the way she moves.
He's like, let me take a drink real quick.
That's
Break the
exactly what
ice.
happened. I
Let's
drank
go.
enough, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling all right. I'm getting brave. Then we get out there, so yeah, we went out and danced, and that was it. Like then later on that night, and
The
so.
first time you danced was with her?
Well, I mean, I've
Or
danced, but I'm just saying I've never been comfortable to
courage.
dance. I've never been
Yeah.
like a person that I'm out on the floor dancing,
Yeah.
You
And
couldn't
so-
tell.
Yeah.
That was
So
awesome.
once she kind of like, and then she told me I was like, I don't really dance, and she's like, I didn't think I danced well. So she's like, you dance great, babe. I
Words of
love the way you
affirmation.
dance."
Right
Words
there.
of
See,
affirmation.
so
Yeah.
once she did, I was like, oh man, she lifted me up, and then so
Aw.
Then
now
his little
I'm
feet
like,
just started going like this.
yeah, pretty much.
Happy feet over here.
Pretty
That's what
much.
I said.
So
I
I was
love
like,
it.
so next
I love
time we're
it.
out there, I'm like, you ready to go? You ready to go?
Yeah.
You're asking her
He's
now?
pulling her now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the curse is now you got to step your game up. They're gonna expect you to like take it to the next level now.
Yeah.
It'll be like Terry Crews on White Chicks.
Yeah.
Well, thank
All
you all.
greased up.
Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a fun, safe Valentine. Oh my God, my voice is gonna
Yeah,
kill me
get
the
your
rest of
voice
the day.
back.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like,
And she said she wasn't gonna talk a lot.
well, Stephanie was super quiet today. She didn't jump in and say anything.
Well, we got it.
All right. Well, please watch, subscribe, like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Coffee and Chaos.
On Apple
Oh,
Podcasts and
Spotify.
Spotify.
There we go.
Thank you. And bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.